Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Obviously, headline news, Binance gets sued by the SEC. Massive liquidations, massive sell-offs. They are trying to freeze all assets on Binance. Are your funds safe if they're on Binance? We're going to discuss that. Also, apparently, a replacement for CZ is already in place. We're going to discuss that and much, much more. But first, here is your other co-host, Robin.
Hola, it's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, well, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take all that old, boring, and stale information and FUD and repackage it up in a fun and sexy way. Man, what is the price of Bitcoin at? Are we under 26 yet?
You know how we are able to know. You know how we're able to know the price of Bitcoin is because we have killer internet. You know why we have killer internet or no IT problems? Because of our sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. Today's show is brought to you by them. If your business is having network issues, you're going to want to give them a call. They're going to help solve your issues for you, so you don't have to waste any time. So you can focus on your business and making more money. If you want more information, visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video. And yes, Robin. Bitcoin,
dude,
is at 25,000.
So Bitcoin, just to put in perspective, went from 27.3 this morning when birds are chirping. And when I say birds, I'm not talking about Twitter.
Gary was just in bed still, hadn't gotten out of bed yet.
Well, news broke, and wow, what a sell-off. And no, we've had a few different TA people on the show, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Lifer, maybe. I don't know. Somebody was out here echoing 25.6 is a huge, huge number to keep an eye out for. So that's exactly where we're at right now. What do you got there?
1,000% increase in liquidations. These numbers are insane. We'll get into that. Also, speaking of TA, we do have Evan Aldo joining us, first time on the show, joining us in about 10 minutes to go over some charts. What you should be looking at, some support levels for Bitcoin and other cryptos. Let's just get into the markets. Let's see what the markets are doing. Go ahead, Bob.
All right. So just to take a quick look at the overall markets, you have Bitcoin, as we mentioned, at 25.7. Ethereum holding right at 1,800. Bitcoin is down 5.5%, 7% on the week. So pretty big move there. Obviously, everything to do with the news that broke. And market cap for Bitcoin under $500 billion. Now, going down the list, here, I'll just take a quick look. Some of the biggest losers today, Terra Luna Classic, Pepe down 17%, 28%, basically down 30%. This is the wrong time to get into memes right now. If you have any memes, well, sorry for you. And if, what else is down? Everything's down. Host of projects all down 10% and above. Filecoin down. They have, are they included on that list of 10?
They sure are.
Okay, so Filecoin, subject to being deemed a security once again in a non-actually lawsuit kind of way. And then Immutable X down as well.
Lawsuit.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to put that sentence together. But you know what? It is what it is. Gary says there's security, but he hasn't sued him yet.
Thanks,
which
Gary.
is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, let's not waste any time. Let's bring on our guest. Let's take a look at a Bitcoin chart. Rocco Patchman. Evan, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Pleasure to be on. A lot of fun with this market the last day. I'm really glad. I took some shorts yesterday. I don't normally trade on weekends, but I'm really, really glad I did. So let me guys, without further ado, let's show you the charts. I know everybody wants to see.
Hey, man,
here.
I like it.
Let's get right into it.
I love it.
So the main thing here that I want to start with is we're in kind of that accumulation year. Now, the first thing that we want to realize here is we want to just look at how crazy Bitcoin kind of repeats history. Look at this kind of double bottom back in December, back in 2014, 2015. Look at also this double bottom. We'll talk about that 47% drop down here, this double bottom, the last bear market. Here's potentially the first bottom here. And then what we could potentially be looking for is somewhat of a repeat of something like this, maybe a little less or maybe even worse than that, who knows, but that kind of area. And you also want to look at here in Market Cypher B, what I really like to look at, gap to RSIs. See this area with the gap to RSIs last time? 47% down. If you were to come down about 47% from the top here, That would bring us maybe a little bit less, 45. A double bottom potentially could be the place to really be looking at in September, October. My guess, this is really speculative. This is just my estimate. I don't know if this is going to happen. My guess, somewhat of a double bottom towards the end of the year, a lot of apathy. And then we're going to see a big Santa rally, I think, a big end of year rally into the halvening, which is in around March, I think. And then after the halvening, I know last time we pumped through it throughout this area, I think it's going to be more like this area where I believe in 2015, or was it 2014? I'm trying to remember. But there was one happening where it dumped. So I think you're going to dump down, and then you're going to finally see our parabolic run up kind of towards the end, June, mid 2024 after. I don't think the tourists are really going to be back until, kind of July of 2024. There's a lot of apathy in this market. So that's what I'm looking at right there. And just to show you a little bit more on, the more shorter term here, on our 2-day time frame, I want to show you my estimate of what could potentially happen here to bring us into that area. You're kind of forming what could be a head and shoulders. It could form a giant head and shoulders. You have the head and shoulders up here. You also have another head and shoulders that you could look at on the 16-hour and draw this head and shoulders, that area. Long story short, you'd get a technical target, which is going to be right around 23.7, that kind of area. Also, this is a volume range that we just broke down from. If you do a technical target out of there, it's a parallel channel. These are what we call spider lines. They're big trend lines that would bring you down to around 24.7, which is a huge, huge area. And guys, let's just do some basic common sense here. A lot of liquidation points are probably at just below 25. I know how people, I've been in this game a while. I know how people, where they put their stop loss and liquidations. Price will probably find a way to get down to that point. After that, my estimate, and I look at Market Cipher too for confluence as well, money flow to come deeper kind of on the 2-day as you form potentially a larger head and shoulders, then break down from that to what could be a higher high. 20K is kind of my best case scenario personally. I know it sounds a little dark, but I do think there's a decent shot as somewhat of a double bottom or a higher high in September, October. We also got regulatory FUD, those type of things coming up right now. So that's what I got for the charts. A little pessimistic, but yeah.
You said 20K is your best case scenario?
That's what I'm thinking, best case scenario.
What's your
probably honestly like worst case scenario right now? I mean, it depends how dark and gloom you want to get. Like if we're going into like, really bad recession, it is possible you could wick down to 10, 9K. My worst case scenario though, I think is going to be around 13K. Most likely, I think we're going to end up somewhere between 16, 18K for a double bottom.
And then just real quick, I want to give a little shout out to the chat here. If you're new here and you're enjoying the content, you're enjoying Evan, put a like in the chat or hit the like button because, we only got like 25% like ratio. That's insanely low. I'm not sure if Gary Gensler got to you as well. But so do us a favor, hit the like button. Also, if you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. I see a couple new people here. We have Eddie Pimpin Splits, Forget About It. Kiwi Crypto, Baxter Churchill, Clay, and Mike Volmer. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Evan, I want to ask you, as a trader, what is your strategy when big news like this breaks? I know you're obviously expecting volatility. Are there specific go-to tokens, or is it just Bitcoin that perform a certain way or bounce back faster? What is your strategy? Are you waiting on the sidelines, or are you pouncing on this opportunity?
So I don't really look at the news too much in terms of trading. I'm more of a purely like technical trader. The news you can look at for confluence, such as sell the news type things, such as obviously with the Apple event, obviously with NVIDIA being front page, last week, all that, everybody's talking about something. Look at, potentially a place to try to short it. That's what I'm looking at, kind of sell the news type things, but it's purely kind of technical. Let me show you how I took, and it's been a lot of good ETH trades too. ETH and Bitcoin are the largest market caps. Those are going to be the ones that kind of follow the technicals the most. Once you get out of the top 25, it's a little bit tougher because the market caps get smaller. But let me just show you what I was looking at when I went short on ETH. And I actually added to this short this morning. This one went beautifully. So this is what you call a bearish div on Market Cipher B. You want to, so price made a higher, and we finally hit a point. This is a volume area high. Really important point that I've been waiting for a long time. 1915 here in ETH. And this, as you can see here on Market Cipher B, we're making a lower low with those momentum waves right there and money flows coming down. Took the short there, took my first profits here, But people would say, "Oh, you took your profits too early." Wait, it gets more interesting. And then on larger time frames, you can see the 3 hour. This money flow is coming from green to red that normally brings you down more. This morning, when we got to this point, we were consolidating a bit. Added to my entry, had doubled the position up. My new average entry was around up here, I believe. Set a stop loss and the entry point. So risk-free trade right there. I know it does get a little complicated, but basically a risk-free trade. Then I took more profits at this point of control, I believe, or that's point of control right there, which is a big point. We're playing with that point right now, so we'll see if we could kind of hold that. So that's kind of what I look for there. Let me just show you guys. This is like for kind of somebody who's not a trader, who's not real sophisticated. My main point to start DCAing into ETH. I've been on the sidelines with ETH for a long time. Look at this area on Market Cipher B on your 12-day time frame right here. This will, imagine if you DCA'd in through this kind of this bear market, this accumulation phase area. That's what I think. Look how close money flows to get into the red here. That's what I think could potentially happen pretty soon within the next month or two. Start DCAing there, DCA into maybe April 24 for ETH. And then if we do something of this nature, maybe make a triple bottom, who knows, maybe even make a lower low or something with all the regulatory FUD or whatnot. And then from here, if you have an average buy-in point around 1,300 or something, say we come up to 8K, 10K, I mean, you might be able to get a 10X. I mean, I'm hoping for a lower low for a 10X here, but, like if it's like this 68%, that's probably not going to go down that much. But kind of my worst case scenario for ETH right now is kind of 600. If we could get there, that's going to be a dream because you could easily probably get, I would say, at minimum, maybe a 10X in the next bull run with ETH with that.
Yeah. Oh my God. $600 ETH. I can, name 50 people off the top of my head who would be buying ETH there. Are there any, we kind of spoke about Bitcoin dominance prior to patching in on the show. You did say you had a chart on that, something you saw on there.
Oh yeah, let me show you that. So this is a very important chart that I want people to really pay attention to because this is where I'm going to be basing where I'm going to start buying altcoins. So we're in this area right here. Basically in 2019, we had this area. So if you look at money flow here, 2023, very similar to 2019 in a lot of ways. Look at June 2019 when we kind of peaked out for Bitcoin there. As we crashed down, as we came down towards the end of 2019, Bitcoin dominance rose by about 25%. I don't know if you're going to rise that high, but if you do, that's around 60% for Bitcoin dominance. Also, you would have a technical target out of this kind of parallel channel, which is going to be a little bit lower at 56%. So I'm thinking the highest you could probably go is 60%, I think. And then you do have for the more short term, let's get rid of this for a second. For the more short term, you are in kind of a bull pennant, bull flag. You could probably break up to around 51. Once you break above 50 here, you could get up to this area pretty soon. Now, I do think this is going to make a lower high on Bitcoin dominance because I'm not some, crazy Bitcoin maximalist. I do think it's going to make a lower high, but I think you're going to get kind of at this point again, and you could kind of DCA potentially at this point. The other thing I'm looking for too is look at this money flow right here. This would have been a beautiful kind of DCA area for, if we could take a circle of this, for buying altcoins. This is for buying altcoins because when Bitcoin, for people not familiar, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, altcoins bleed against Bitcoin, as we've seen, pretty significantly since really September of last year, August, September of last year. ETH bled against Bitcoin by about 25% there. This jumps up to 25%. Look at if we're close to getting into that green right there. That's where I'm going to start DCing into altcoins. Say we get there in July or something. That would be a good DCA opportunity. I would not be still DCA. It would be a while if you were DCAing into February 25. Maybe if you stop there, that would be where the parabolic thing kind of runs up. But I think the sweet spot's going to be kind of, if you take this down a few months, maybe like July of 24, kind of an 8-month period is usually what I like based on kind of the Ethereum thing I was showing you. So I do think in all likelihood, what we're going to see, I mean, the last thing I just want to tell you guys is remember how at the peak of May of 21, Dogecoin was the big fad meme coin. Then the markets crashed. At the peak in November of 2021, it was Shiba. Yep. And now at this peak, it seems like it was Pepe. And then we're going to, come down for those next few months. That's another reason why I think meme coins, altcoins are just going to get decimated against Bitcoin for at least the next few months. Not all of them. Sometimes, if you're an expert altcoin picker and you got some, some secrets, some inside info, fundamentals that sometimes you could beat Bitcoin, but it's tough.
We got some secret alpha on the meet. No, we don't. But so you mentioned 25K that a lot of liquidation points are probably hiding on the backside of that. So if we're sitting here, if for average trader, if they're watching the charts, get down to 25, they see it get down to 28, let's say, or 24,800. Mm-hmm. Are you looking to put in short positions there, or is it just a lot of uncertainty and volatility? So you're kind of just trying to see where the cards fall. Like, what would you say for an average investor?
I'm looking to take profits. Yeah, I mean, I like to look at lines of kind of support and resistance. I'll show you right now where I actually have a bunch of take profits set up right down here at this pocket. These pockets, these are just trend lines that you could draw. We call them spider lines. At 24.8 to 24.6, I think that's a huge pocket to potentially take profits. And I think that's a good place where you would end up. And that's a technical target as well, because what you could do, this is a volume range, basically a parallel channel where price sticks to for a while. We just broke out of it. So in all likelihood, you would end up around this area. The other thing that we got to keep in mind too is our 200 weekly moving average now sits at, let me actually put this up here on this this chart real quick for you, because it's a really important point. It's not as respected as it used to be by price, but we're testing it right now. As you can see, it's at right about, let me turn this off so you guys see. It's around about 26.3 right now. We're below it. If we close a daily candle, or a weekly candle be strong, a daily candle, a weekly candle below it, that's where things get more bearish as well. And it would look like you may do something similar to what you kind of did back here when we lost it there. We kind of tested it, and then we dropped it that area. So it wouldn't surprise me if you did something of potentially this nature into September, October, kind of that area based on it. So yeah, it's more of a bear market. I mean, there's a lot of different, strategies you can look at, whether you're a day trader, whether you're a swing trader. But in terms of the swing trades, I think ultimately right now, the big place to take profits is going to be 24.7, just below the 24.9 kind of area. After that, it's going to be the 23. I know Tom Crown was talking a lot about earlier, 23.3, which is a huge area as well. So you could, kind of look at it that area. Obviously, 20K is huge, but yeah, I think it's going to be volatile. I think it's going to be a lot of, because in this kind of environment, it's that sideways like we saw in 2019. You jumped up and down. Let me just show you how crazy 2019 was. If we just zoom in on the charts, I was looking at this a second ago. I mean, if you go on a 2-day here, I mean, look at this freaking area. I mean, this was a tough environment you came down, but you had some weird jumps up here. I mean, look at that 40% jump up. And then right here you had, I mean, we would not count the pandemic, obviously, 56% jump up. So it gets choppy in these type of environments. So be careful. But I think ultimately you're going to follow some type of path similar to this.
Yeah, it always reverts to the mean at some point, right? Evan, we want to, that was some great stuff, man. Thank you so much. If people want more Evan Aldo, where can they find you?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel is the number one, youtube.com/Evan Aldo. Also, I am somewhat active on Twitter, twitter.com at real Evan Aldo. And I do have a Discord community, a free Discord community, and a paid Discord community as well. But join the free one first. We have a really good community there. You can find the link in all of my YouTube videos for that. Do have a course as well with a lot of great trading strategies, how to interpret market cipher, and how to do a lot of things I did today. So yeah, and the community is really, really good. We have a lot of really, really good traders in the community. So check that out as well. But yeah, mainly YouTube and Twitter are the two most active.
Yeah, we do have that YouTube link in the description of this video and in the chat as well. So just go there, click subscribe. Evan, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
Thank you.
And we look forward to bringing you on again.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, until next time.
Bye.
Man, I want to...
We're full of props here, right? So I got the hammer. We got the like sign, which y'all don't like today because you haven't hit the like button. But we're full of props. You know what we need?
What?
We need a seatbelt, bro. Can I get like a seatbelt here? Like one. It's just,
I'll order it
like,
on Amazon right away.
When the markets are crashing, be like, you know what, your boy buckling up because it's about to get shaky.
Look, I want to share. Okay, so one thing I want to start here. Okay, you have So liquidations are up over 1,000% over the last 4 hours. Over $250 million of crypto has been liquidated. You can see here on this flow chart, Bitcoin leads the way at close to $100 million. ETH at 31.6 million. Obviously, 95% of those liquidations were longs. But even more concerning is this. Look how much Bitcoin has left Binance in the last 24 hours.
And that 24 hours is more like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
7,753 Bitcoin. Now, Robin, this lawsuit, CZ, we're going to cover that in detail. We have the whole lawsuit. We have everything. CZ has come out and said they are going to fight against the SEC.
Are they?
But is that going to matter if people have lost faith in them, whether it's right or wrong?
Okay.
Because obviously people are pulling money off the exchange.
Okay. Coinbase came out, said the same thing. Hey, SEC's out here to get you. SEC's trying to take away crypto. SEC's no good. We're going to fight them. That's essentially, in the synopsis, what Brian Armstrong and his team has echoed about the ongoing court case that is about to go, or the impending court case that's coming. Because the Wells notice is essentially a precursor to say, hey, we're about to sue you. And so what we're seeing right now with Binance should be expecting the same thing from Coinbase, unless there's a resolution in the form of a settlement. Speaking of settlement, so when it comes to Binance, I don't think that Binance is going to go through a court case. I really don't. They don't operate here in the U.S. They don't need the U.S. And do they want that battle? Do they want to take on the court fees? Do they want to take on the public image that is, hey, you're getting sued and you're in court? I mean, look what happened to Ripple. There's so much FUD when it comes to Ripple. There's nobody wants to partner with them. I mean, I don't want to say nobody, but no American companies are realistically partnering with them. And so it's set them back. But they're fighting the fight because, hey, well, they want to operate in the U.S. and they, the banking infrastructure. Well, for Ripple, you kind of need the U.S. on your side, right? Because most banking goes through some kind of American channels. With that said, does Binance really need the U.S.? I mean, I'm sure they don't want to let it go.
Bro, what is the largest capital? It is the largest.
It's. But what I'm saying is that I think that more likely than not, my personal opinion, I think Binance will settle this, pay a gigantic fine, and then they don't have to go to court. They don't have to take the reputation hit. They don't have to worry about the FUD. They don't have to worry about the legal fees. And they're going to be paying out of pocket anyways. They don't even, their main business isn't even the U.S. They make, majority of their profits are international. And so which is a stark contrast from Coinbase. Now, Coinbase, they're U.S. And so they can't really not operate in the U.S. They're a publicly traded company in the United States. And so if the SEC sues Coinbase, they really got no option, right? I mean, they could settle, but that doesn't really help their environment at all. They're still got no clarity. They're still no better position than they were before. And so Coinbase has to fight. Binance, they don't have to. Now, like you said, American markets are huge. American markets, exchanges want to operate. Number one economy, U.S. That's it. But in the overall picture, the United States on exchange activity on centralized exchanges accounts for 17% of global trade. 17%. So think about that. 83% is operated outside the U.S. And who's the number one exchange that facilitates that is Binance. And that's where their bread and butter is. And so that Binance.us account, that is a fraction of their main company. And so I personally think that they will settle, but this is still early. This is still very early, but I just don't see them going through this long, drug out 2 to 4 year process just so that way they can keep Binance.us open when they're the largest exchange, and they got there because of their international trading. I don't know.
Okay, so I have a few things. I'm like pulling stuff up as we go. So let's start here. So this is making mainstream headline news. SEC sues Binance and CEO Changpeng Zhao for U.S. securities violations. You had this from the SEC or from Binance. This is from their website, Binance.com. This is part of their blog. Most recently, we are disappointed. We got sued. More recently, we have engaged in extensive good faith discussions to reach a negotiated settlement to resolve their investigations. He's talking about not only the SEC, but remember, they were sued by the CFTC as well. But despite our efforts with its complaint today, the SEC abandoned that process and instead chose to act unilaterally and litigate. We are disheartened by that choice. We intend to defend our platform vigorously. Because of our size and global name recognition, Binance is an easy target now caught in the middle of U.S. regulatory tug of war. Because Binance is not a U.S. exchange, the SEC's actions are limited in reach. I thought that was interesting. You talk about this all the time, Robin. They can't do anything. They're not a U.S. company. Well, they are doing something, and they're not a U.S. company. I do have some notes here. So there are 10 tokens listed as securities in the lawsuit. Those include Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Cosmos, Sandbox, Decentraland, Algorand, again, Axie Infinity, and Kadi. We do have
Cardano and Kadi? That's
we do have a tweet from Charles Hoskinson. We're going to go over that in a little bit later. The complaint document states that Binance BAM Trading. Now, BAM Trading is essentially Binance.us. That is their DBA, doing business as. And BAM Management are accused of offering and selling securities unlawfully, violating blah, blah, blah. Changpeng Zhao, aka CZ, who is identified as a controlling person over these companies, is alleged to be in violation of the Exchange Act. Until at least the end of 2022, Binance, at CZ's direction, maintained custody and control of the crypto assets deposited, held, traded, and or accrued by customers on the Binance US platform. That's a key one. That customer funds were controlled, held, traded, and CZ had control of that and maintained that. The defendants are also accused of making materially false and misleading statements, leading to a fraudulent acquisition of money or property. The commission is seeking legal action against these defendants, including a permanent injunction, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, penalties, and other equitable relief. I was listening to the Mario Nafal Twitter Spaces today, and they had a lawyer on there, and they're talking about, they are like, the SEC is like, they're going to court very soon, and they're going to ask the judge to freeze all assets on Binance. That includes customer assets as well. BAM Trading and Binance, both under CZ, operate the Binance US platform, functioning as an exchange, clearing agency, and broker without official registration. BAM are alleged to have made false and misleading statements to investors, particularly about their controls against manipulative trading practices such as wash trading. We know this was a big narrative against CZ and Binance via the CFTC and now the SEC as well. Binance US failed to implement controls to prevent this kind of manipulative trading. They also touted these controls when soliciting investors during seed funding rounds. A trade surveillance manual provided to these investors falsely described active surveillance of the Binance US platform, supposedly conducted by an internal team using third-party software. We're going to go over the charges here in a second, but I want to take a quick break, and I want to share this. I want to share this right here. So this is kind of what they're drawing. This is a flow chart of CZ owning everything, okay? No, seriously, this is what it is.
Just like your title there.
CZ owns 100% of CPZ, 100% of Binance, 100% of Sigma, 100% of Merit Peak, 100% of CoinMarketCap. And under CPZ is BAM, which is Binance.us. He owns 100% of that as well. Under that is the management company. He owns 81% of that. And then the trading services, he owns 100% of that. So looking at this chart, Robin, and everything they said, is CZ in trouble?
CZ? I mean, yeah.
Is he going to have to step down?
Nah.
No?
Hey, here's the thing. Like, even on that chart, there's a little dotted arrow that says others Zhao-owned entities, right? Is that what it says? And so that means there's other investors. So he's not the only one that owns. He doesn't own all of that 100% himself. I think that's,
this is in the lawsuit.
Yeah, the law. Here's the thing. So with the lawsuit, they're trying to freeze assets, right? And so the court case that the lawsuit's making is going to be as damning as possible and make it sound like this is a criminal enterprise, and they overdo it to the point that, like, hey, we're gonna drop, what was it, 12 charges, right?
12 charges.
So they're gonna file 12 charges. They know they're probably only gonna, if they were to go to court, for example, they know that they would probably only get a handful of those if they were to be successful. I doubt that they could find them guilty on all 12 charges. And then on top of that, that's also ammunition for when you go to settle and you go to negotiate. And so at the settlement table, be like, hey, we filed charges on you. You want to settle? Pay us $250 million. And on top of that, why don't you accept guilt on 6 of these charges, 3 of these charges, and we'll drop the other ones. And how many of these will stick? I don't know. And are they trying to paint CZ in the most negative light there is? Yeah. Does he own 100% of everything himself personally? Like, I'm not saying it's an absolute no, because I haven't done the research on it.
It doesn't sound practical.
Yeah, it's a big company, man.
But I mean, when
he's
the
the head
US,
of the company.
But Robin, when a U.S. regulator files a lawsuit, they don't just pull numbers out of their behind.
No, those numbers are right. I just don't think that he's the sole proprietary owner of those assets. I think there's a parent company that Binance is operated. CZ is the primary shareholder or stakeholder or just owner as far as the percentages go. But there's other people there, man. There has to be. He's not a one-man show there. That's all I'm saying. And the SEC's over here trying to paint the dude as the next coming of Juan Pablo Escobar over here. Like,
Juan Pablo Escobar. You just use his full name.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Digging it.
I just think did I even get the name right? Was that right? It's Juan Pablo, right?
It's Juan Pablo.
Juan Pablo. Yeah. Real quick, while I'm on accents, did you know I have a Portuguese accent? And with the Portuguese accent, I like to drop holas to new people in chat. So if you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. And we got a horrendous like ratio today. Do us a favor. If you're new here, hit the like button, and why not? And if you have been here before, well, you know the deal, man. Hit the like button before I throw the sign at you. Thank you.
Let me ask you this question,
What's
Robin. Up? So the 2 biggest headlines of crypto in mainstream media was the second largest exchange, scam. Now the largest exchange, scam. That's what they're painting it as. What does this do for crypto adoption and the mainstream? Because if we want this massive bull run, right? We're expecting a massive bull run in the next 12 to 18 months. I feel like we can all agree to that. The halving's in less than a year.
I don't
know.
I mean, at this point, I don't know.
If it follows market cycles.
Market cycles go out the window if you don't have the infrastructure and liquidity, and you can't onboard new people. What is a bull market? What is it? It's an influx of new people and new money, right? If there is no American bank servicing crypto, and there is no American exchanges servicing crypto, where's the new users ain't going to come from the U.S.? And you can look at the previous cycles. Where'd the money come from? It came from U.S. residents. I don't want to say all of it, but a big chunk of it. At least the last bull market did. Who got checks airdropped by the U.S. government? Those are, U.S. residents. And
let's go to Tijuana.
Yeah, I'm saying, like it wasn't like it wasn't like Mexico and Brazil was just FOMOing into crypto because they got free money.
Let me ask,
that's all I'm saying is that these bull markets are kicked off because retail that doesn't have exposure to crypto is now piling in. There's new money. And a lot of that new money, percentage-wise, has come from the U.S. Now they build it offshore, and then they give you ways of investing in the States, but those ways of investing are drying up. And the Wells notice is in for Coinbase.
what are you trying to say, Robin?
There's going to be Binance sued, right?
Are you saying there's going to be a 3-4 year bear market?
What I'm saying is that I wouldn't draw a conclusion that we're going to all of a sudden in 12 months be shooting off to another bull market. If come September, 3 months from now, there is an official lawsuit with Coinbase, because this is the same playbook. Binance, more than likely, whatever offices were here in the States or whatever mailbox, PO box they were using, they probably got hit with a Wells notice. A lot of companies get Wells notices from the SEC before they go to court, before they get sued, and they just don't make it public because they don't want people to freak out, right? So who's got a Wells notice that is an impending lawsuit coming up soon is Coinbase. And Coinbase has already said that they're going to fight this thing. So it's either SEC drops the lawsuit, they settle, or they go to court. Let me ask you something. Do you think the SEC is going to drop the lawsuit, David, on Coinbase?
No.
Do you think Coinbase is going to settle?
Yes.
You think Coinbase is going to settle and admit guilt?
Well,
the thing is, they're looking for clarity because they have none. There's no way they settle. They can't operate their business. Like SEC is saying that everything's a security that's not Bitcoin. And their whole business model is to trade crypto. So they have to. There's no other option. Binance, they operate globally. Coinbase, they just opened up an office overseas. They are a US-based company. They need clarity here. They need to know how to operate. They're going to go to court. That's where I'm getting at. By the end of the year, there will be another lawsuit, another SEC headline. Another day we come into the office. Another day, Big Rob and David are up in here, and we're gonna be like, Coinbase sued. We're gonna be a picture of Gary Gensler right there in the middle of our thumbnail, and right there in the video, and it's gonna say Coinbase sued. That's coming. You can't avoid it at this point unless they drop the lawsuit.
Let me ask you a question.
And so you couple that Binance plus Coinbase going into the end of the year. Is it a foregone conclusion we go into a bull market? No. And we're in a recessionary period. What happens if S&P 500 tanks? What happens if the housing market tanks? I'm just saying that I still side on the likelihood that we're going to go into a bull market next year. However, that likelihood is not a certainty. It is not 90%. Maybe a 53.5% chance we go into a bull market. You want numbers? I'm giving it to you.
Wow, thank you for those numbers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Look at this tweet from the official SEC. Okay, today we charged Binance's U.S.-based affiliate, BAM Trading, which together with Binance operates Binance.US and their founder, Changpeng Zhao, with a variety of securities law violations. And here's the quote they decide to put as a picture. We are operating as a effing unlicensed securities exchange in the USA, bro. Apparently, Binance's chief compliance officer said that in 2018.
Why don't we pull up some quotes from Gary Gensler getting interrogated at the House committee hearing?
This is going to be great.
Last month
for Brad Sherman.
How
about Sherman?
How about remember when Gary Gensler was was answering questions in the hearing, and he said, "Why is Ethereum a commodity or security?" And he's like, like that should be the quote from the SEC. Is it a security or a commodity? And then just put a bunch of some weird characters, little dots, and
just
then
don't put a rocket ship because that means you're making money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that if you're gonna pull people's quotes, then there's a host of quotes from Gary Gensler that just symbolize exactly what we've had his entire time he's been here in the last 2.5, 3 years, and that has been uncertainty, no clarity, and no direction at all. And he has spoken that way when asked questions, and he's regulated that way as well.
Let me get the camera here for a second, Rocco. I want to speak to everyone watching right now. I want you to know there's going to be a lot of people out there. It might be Bitcoin maxis. It might be people that hate our space that come out and say, crypto is dead. I told you not to invest in it. But please understand one thing, okay? When stuff like this happens, when companies get sued and people get pushed out and Operation Choke Point is here, ask yourself this question. Did anything change on the base layer, on the protocol layer, on the blockchain level of Bitcoin, of Ethereum, of Solana? Did any of that change as to what purpose they are trying to serve, the utility they're trying to serve, the people they are trying to serve? And the answer to that question is no. So even though here in the US, they're trying to cut crypto's legs off, they're trying to cut us down, they're trying to keep us down, guess what? Development will continue to happen, not here in the US, but overseas. And guess what? In the next 2 years, maybe the next 4 years, when leadership changes here in the US and people become more receptive to cryptocurrency, that infrastructure will be built overseas and it will make its way back to the US. But you watching, if you believed in crypto and got into crypto for specific reasons, and those reasons have not changed, there is no reason to be scared. There is no reason to exit the markets. And there is no reason to think that crypto is going anywhere. Keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. So that's my 2 cents. Also, I did mention there's already a new person replacing CZ. So this came out an hour ago. Binance hands rising star Tang Key. Oh, wait, is his name Tang? Oh, Richard Tang. I thought his name was Tang Key. Richard Tang has been handed the role of CEO to replace CZ at Binance. So, I know now this news, as far as this gentleman, Richard Tang, he has not, this has been talked about for a little bit. I don't want to say a while, but it's been talked about. But now that's why I asked you that question earlier, Robin. Is CZ going to have to step down? Because it seems like a big part of this is CZ and him owning a mass percent, if not 100%, of all these entities that they're claiming. After seeing this.
So, I mean, it goes to show you that if he's stepping down, he's not going to give. That means he's the head of a company, right? And the company probably has stockholders or stakeholders, right? And so if he's stepping down, he doesn't own everything. If you're the boss and you're the only boss and you own everything, who are you going to step down to? What you're going to do is sell the company. So it proves more the point that CZ is painted as a gangster here, or as Elizabeth Warren says, thugs and cronies is her favorite word. Now, to say, in your heartfelt speech you had there to the camera and the viewer, you did mention that crypto is going to go offshore. Now, that is if there's no regulation or if there's no framework put in. And at this moment, there are bills that are being drafted, that are being proposed. You have the Cynthia Lummis bill. You also have the bill that was drafted Friday last week. We covered briefly. That one also addresses some of the clarity issues and gives a framework for regulation. And if nobody steps up, think of it this way. If you have a new city that pops up, you can look at the Wild West era where you had all of these people moving from the East Coast of the United States to the West Coast, and then all these little new cities popped up or towns. And without any law enforcement there, somebody can just step up and then just rule because, hey, they have the most guns, or they have, they just say, hey, my uncle is a sheriff, so I'm gonna run this town. You guys are gonna be in my regulation. And that's kind of what we have here. We just have no framework. There's no laws in place. There's nothing put in place to say like this is how it should run. And so you have somebody like the SEC, Gary Gensler, they're just filling the void. And the fact is that nobody's there to say what a crypto is. And so the SEC's literally just put their hand up and said, hey, crypto, that's like a stock. That's what security, that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, it's like a share of a company. It's like a stock. It's not. It's vastly different. And the regulation will come. It just depends on when. And Congress will act at some point. I just hope that it's within the next 6 months or perhaps, a year and a half. But at the speed that things have happened so far and how the Congress is on opposing sides, it might be the latter. It might be 2+ years before it. But I hold my breath. I hope that we get something sometime soon.
Don't hold your breath too long because we know what happens if that happens. Now, I mentioned Charles tweeted something out, and I'm going to read this thing in its entirety. It's not too long. So if you're not familiar, this is Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, IOHK. With respect to Binance, I'm reading through the SEC complaint. It's over 130 pages, but seems like the next in a series of steps to implement Choke Point 2.0 here in the United States. The end goal is a agenda-based CBDC partnered with a handful of massive banks and end-to-end control over every aspect of your financial life. A regulatory event is where you have a debate about compliance with the law or guidance. This event seems to be a political, philosophical disagreement with the very existence of crypto and what they represent. An unelected group of people have decided that concepts like self-sovereign identity, owning your own wallet, and the freedom to control your economic agency should be removed from the masses and given to the enlightened few. Honestly, what is happening isn't anything new. It's always the same fight between freedom and authoritarianism, just with different players, technology, and words. It does seem like this event is a perfect opportunity for the entire industry to set aside its fragmented nature and unite for a common sense of set of rules and guidelines that can prevent the United States from slipping into a dystopia that would make 1984 look like a vacation. I'll have more to say later, but we'll close with we are going to be fine. Everything is all right and the future is bright for the industry. Very, very well said. I'm going to retweet this with a clapping emoji. Bravo.
I look forward to his video. I'm sure he'll probably have something. He'll probably have something on YouTube by the end of the night. So we'll probably, if it's good, we'll clip it. Charles is very plugged into the political and regulation side of crypto, especially here in the States. His company is based here in the U.S., or at least his office is. IOHK is not, but
I believe IOHK is Hong Kong.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what he said there? This isn't new. This happens every bear market, right? But to the extent that it's happening now, I don't think.
I think, honestly, he is probably having this not a big deal moment because there's a lot of uncertainty. And I'm sure he doesn't want people to freak out, man. Now, at the same time, Cardano and Cody both got listed, and Cody has no. Cody is not an entity owned by IOHK or Charles. It's just a partner that mints the DGED token, and also they do offer some DeFi services as well. But with that said, it is part of their ecosystem, and so I feel like they're taking a shot at Cardano here, right? And
I mean, Cardano was listed in there.
Conspiracy theory here is he's been very vocal and outspoken against the SEC and against the U.S. Regulatory framework that we have in place now, and maybe they're trying to silence him, right? And I mean, does Cardano do they want to go through all of those legal headaches of lawsuit and Wells notice and the FUD that follows? I don't know, man.
I do have the charges here. There's 12 charges. We're going to go over them real quick. So, unregistered offer and sale of BUSD. Okay, that's their stable coin. Unregistered offer and sale of Simple Earn and BNB Vault programs. So, staking. Again, Kraken got sued for this. Well, not sued, but settled. Coinbase, part of their lawsuit or their Wells notice, talks about their Earn, and now Binance. Unregistered offer, sale of staking program by Binance US. Failure to register as an exchange for Binance.com, which to me, if one of the charges is, why didn't you register Binance.com? Why have Binance US, right? But I know in the lawsuit, and I didn't get through all of it, but man, I was speed reading through that thing today. Part of it was CZ is being accused of, through internal conversations, telling his people, to certain influential individuals, or call them whales, hey, figure out a way to get around this, get through this loophole and bring them on the Binance.com platform. Maybe that has part of it to do with that, but like, we're not lawyers or judges here by any means, but I can't imagine a company that's not domiciled in the US. Like, here's the thing. Part of me is like, the SEC just wants to sue everyone and anyone. Like, they're over there operating, they're domiciled in whatever country, let's just say Hong Kong or China or India or whatever the case may be. And the US is going over there like, what's going on over there? Well, it's not the US. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it makes no sense to me. Binance.com does not operate in the US. You got to use a VPN to use it. And why would they come over here and register?
They did. They created a brand new sector.
What I'm saying is that, why would Binance.com register?
I'm so tired
and
of
the
hearing
SEC's
that.
argument is that Binance.us and Binance.com, the parent company, they're all funds are intermingled, same company. But if I wanted to buy a token on Binance.com, I cannot here in the States, unless I take my own measures. But with VPNs. But still, the fact is that it's not available for trading here in the States. And if I want to go out and pick something up that is not available in the States, that's my own thing. That's me. Right? Yep. If you sit here and say that, hey, okay, let's say, for example, I want to buy some weed, right? I want to buy some weed, and I live in what state is weed illegal? Texas? Washington. Say I live in Texas, okay? I want to buy some weed. If I decide to purchase some weed in Nevada, here in Las Vegas, where we're home based at, and weed is legal, by the way. If I decide as a Texas resident to come over to Vegas, buy some weed, and bring it back to Texas, it's not Nevada's fault that somebody did that. And if somebody logs into Binance and buys an asset from Binance.com, it's not Binance's.com's fault because they didn't offer it over there. If you wandered over in some kind of sneaky way yourself and you bought tokens, that's your own, that's the person's fault.
That's like
if I got caught with weed in Texas, I would have to pay the penalty. Now I know it's not a big penalty nowadays because weed's not as hasn't been criminalized to the point where
they focus.
Anyways, what I'm saying here is that if I want to go buy something I'm not supposed to buy, shame on me, not shame on the person that sold it to me. Yeah. Especially if they're operating within the guidelines.
Like we don't blame the car for DUIs, right?
No, but what I'm saying is that their services aren't offered here. And so why are you suing them for not coming into compliance? because people in the States were buying your product by circumventing different, jurisdictional measures. They were buying VPNs and doing it. Let's give a little love to the chat. First of all, I want to know what you guys have been kind of quiet over there lately.
Actually, haven't been quiet. They've been talking amongst each other.
Well, I want y'all to talk with us. I want to talk. I want to hear what you guys think. All right. I want to know. Put a 1 in the chat if bear market has continued. It's doom and gloom. Binance is screwed. Coinbase is screwed. SEC is evil. Put a 1 in the chat if this is the coming of Hades here. All right.
Hades?
Yes, that's right. That's another term for. Don't worry about it. All right. So put a 2 in the chat.
Virginia. From Virginia.
Put a 2 in the chat. If this is all just some stupid fun, you know what? Crypto's global. It's not that big a deal. You know what? The headlines will subside. Put a 2 in the chat if this is just going to pass over. Not a big deal. And then in 1 year, we'll be back on to the halving and the bull market. I want to know where you guys line up. 1, fearful. 2, you don't care.
Robin,
What's
there is... Now, I know the sentiment is very negative, right? But there's always a silver lining to every situation. We might not see it now. We might see it 6 months from now, 2 years from now. But there's always something good that comes out of a bad situation. And one thing I look at for me is after my father passed away, my mother-in-law, everyone around me started freaking out about their health. And so everyone started going and getting checkups. My mother-in-law's life was saved because she did that. They found she had thyroid cancer. They were able to pull her thyroid out. And so looking back, and something positive always comes out of any negative situation. That is my belief. What is something positive that you think we can either draw from it now or you think will come from it moving forward?
I think when there is regulatory clarity in crypto in the States, we will have the blueprint and the framework that the rest of the world will use. I think it's going to take a while to get there, though. And we are right now, we're the shining example of how to run tech businesses in corporate America, maybe not print money and run a central bank. However, when it comes to private corporations, publicly traded companies, we do it pretty well. I mean, you see that the biggest companies in the world are here in the States, or at least the majority of them are, and they are, investable by average citizens here in the States. And I think that at some point, when politicians and regulators wake the hell up and realize that crypto's here to stay, and not having the framework and having all of this technology run overseas, it's going to hurt the U.S. It's going to hurt our GDP. It's going to hurt our jobs. It's going to hurt our financial place in the world as the dominant world reserve currency. And when they see that is threatened because of crypto, we're going to put in regulation, and it's going to be, I think, the framework for the rest of the world. And I think that is just getting pushed further and further back. I thought that it was going to come sooner. I was excited with the executive order from Joe Biden back in the 2022.
We've been
or 2021. I was excited. I was excited when Gary Gensler got in office. I was like, dude taught a class at MIT on Bitcoin. I'm like, yay!
I think we're all saying that.
And so, will it come? Yes. And what do I think is actually happening is that the banking sector, which finances a lot of politics, they pay for their lavish dinners and their campaigns, and they lobby them to death. It's big pharma and big finance. And these people don't want crypto. They don't want their money leaving their exchanges or their banks. They don't want money going over anywhere. But so they're stopping it here internally, and they're trying to go after international companies through the U.S. because everyone has to, if you're going to operate finance, you got to play through U.S. banks, right? You got to play through the SWIFT system. You got to be on board with the IMF. And that's all runs through the United States. So right now it's an attack on crypto. And it's ugly. But you know what? Guess what? How many Bitcoin will there be? 21 million. Doesn't change. Nothing has changed with the Bitcoin network. And maybe it becomes a little bit harder for me and you to buy crypto here in the States. And maybe it suppresses the price short term, which, hey, if you're looking for a positive, you know what? You got a little more time to DCA, put it that way. But I do think the bull market will kick off. I think it might be a little delayed. But with that said,
guess what? More time.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see also how the XRP lawsuit ends up. So that would be interesting.
That would
to
be
see.
very interesting. A couple of people in the chat said, hey, they brought light to XRP wasn't labeled in the lawsuit as one of the coins. That's security. But
I think it wasn't labeled because they're in ongoing litigation. And in the same way that Gary Gensler in his testimony at the House Committee, was it like 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, whenever it was, he was asked about XRP and he didn't comment on it. And I think they're left out because right now it's in court. They don't need to say, hey, you're trading XRP as a security because it's literally in court right now. Right. So like, I feel like that didn't need to be said. Okay, I also want to give a little love to the chat. If you're new here to Sin City Crypto, well, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. Also, hit that like button. We've been telling you all show to hit it, and nobody's listening. And now,
and then make sure to quit it because if you hit it twice, it ain't nice.
That's right. All right. So then also we had a Redman gifted 10 memberships as well. So big shout out to Redman there. Thanks a lot, brother. And then if you do have memberships, you got our emojis and also members only content as well. So a couple of new people. We got Barry with a BA instead of BE. We got Abanir, Jur, Hygiene Ultra, Dodo, Raymond Runskowski, James Johnson, Rick McKee, Zeus Cash, 20 Mining, XRP Freak, Luis Fernandez as well, RC, and Med Inas. Oh no, Med Inas been here before. So, and then if you're new here, say hello. So we dropping all back at you. So, hola to all of you. Welcome, Cincinnati.
Viva Las Vegas. A couple of the other charges filed against CZ include majority of them is not registering as a clearinghouse, a broker dealer, a bank, blah blah blah, but also him having the ownership for with all these exchange. And you know what? Let me actually just, one of them was here. Violation of Exchange Act by Zhao as control person over Binance and Binance.us. So who knows? What we do know though is this is a developing story. What's going to happen? I feel like, and we talked about this before, is have we just gone through so much? And like, would this have dumped the markets more than the markets have done? Because the markets, like, Bitcoin only went down 2K, right? It's at 25.5. So Bitcoin went down less than $2,000, and you have the largest exchange.
6% drawdown.
No, I get it, but what I'm trying to say is 6-7 months ago, or even before FTX, if this would have happened, what kind of drawdown are we looking at? What kind of liquidations are we looking at?
This is also just in the last 2 hours. Do you think the spill off is going to continue? You know, Evan Aldo thought.
I believe Asia's still asleep. I believe because it's 9 or 10 hours ahead.
It's a sleeping baby.
So
down 6%. I think Evan was on something with liquidations. You know, we might see the cascading liquidations. We haven't seen it to the magnitude of the bull market and the impending bear market at the first couple drawdowns of it. And obviously there's more money there. There was a lot more money that was there to be liquidated. But I don't know, man. I think if we get to under 25K, drop down pretty quick.
Yeah. I definitely think under 20.
And I think that might happen.
Morning, yeah.
I think that might happen through. I think that might happen the next few hours, man. Honestly, I'm very curious to see
3 in the
where,
morning in Singapore.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
3 in the morning. So
I'm very
those guys
curious.
haven't on the news yet.
Very curious on where Bitcoin's price is going to land by the end of the day. I think if it's still over 25, come in tomorrow when we're doing our show. I'll be feeling good. Put it that way.
What do you think about that, though, Robin?
What's that?
The whole fact that the Asian markets are not awake yet. They haven't gotten the news yet.
Hey, here's the thing. What happens when I'm asleep? That phone vibrates, bro. And I'm telling you, like I'm like this. I'm like, I got one eye open. I'm like, next thing you know, I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like Bitcoin's price down 8%. I'm like, crap.
No alarm clock needed.
I'm telling you, man. You might think they're sleeping, but I'll tell you, there's people over there in that 3 a.m. Asian time zone that are, they got buzzed awake. Put it that way.
Liquidations are ticking up over the last hour. They were right around 6-7 million. They're getting close to 10 million now. 4 hours, still over $250 million. 12-hour, 278, and the 24-hour, $320 million. Obviously, we don't need to tell you. Vast majority, over 90% of these liquidations are longs. If we go over to a Bitcoin chart, on the daily, we have this massive red candle, but you do see we have a lot of volume coming in at this 25 flat. Call it 24.9, 25 flat. But on the weekly, we're still looking decent, okay? We're looking decent on the weekly. We're still in this massive bull flag pattern, and we're still well within this cloud. What would be extremely bearish for me is if we break below this cloud, which would mean we're under 20K, which we're still, over $5,000 away. And then going on a more micro 5-minute big spill off, rebound, and then a massive kind of this downtrending channel here that we have. We did wick all the way down to 25,368. But we are up, but on the shorter time frames, we do have tons of volume at this 25.6 level, kind of where we're at, where we wicked to. So something to keep in mind. I'm going to pull up the crypto bubble, see what the rest of the top 100 markets are doing. Everything, obviously, in the red. If we go over to coin market cap, we're going to refresh the sucker. ETH still holding over $1,800. BNB 276, that is down 11.5% over the last 7 days. One of the biggest, it is the biggest loser. I lied. Solana is the biggest loser in the top 10. BNB being second, coming in at 9.69%.
Surprised it hasn't had more of a sell-off.
Well, here's the thing. We know Binance and company control a vast majority of those BNB tokens. So,
and it's true.
Yeah,
and it's true.
But out of the top, let's just look at the biggest losers here. Okay, are there any of these tokens that you're gonna look to DCA into or chunk by?
But look at those tokens. It's tokens that aren't household names that people are more speculating on, right? Obviously, the biggest loser is a meme coin because people know it doesn't have staying power. And if you know money's leaving the system, there's uncertainty, and you don't know how far down Bitcoin's going to draw down. And you know that these projects, these speculative ones, they're really only going to pay off in a run up and into a bull market or a big a big bounce in the bear market. And don't you agree? No, I mean, people aren't going to be piling into meme coins at this moment. I mean, that's my thing.
No, they're definitely not.
And then you look at all those other ones. You had Render token in there as well. You have the Terra Luna, and so anybody that was trying to make a quick buck, it's things like this. I mean, everything sells off when Bitcoin sells off. When Bitcoin sells off, in the way that it did. Real quick, we do got 290 people in the chat. So let's get a little Ola train going. I want for all the new people here that might not be familiar, that's our thing here. Or that's my thing at least. So I'm gonna lead the charge and put the first Ola in the chat. See if we can get 200 Olas up in the chat.
I want to address something James Johnson in chat said. Do they go after Tether next? So listen to this. If Tether was a country, they would be the 24th as far as who holds the most U.S. Treasury securities. They would be ranked number 24 if they were a country.
Oh, so you don't think they go after him because they don't want the flight of capital out of the bond market? I agree.
On top of that,
I agree.
You have liquidity issues. You have all these new bonds and notes and T-bills that the Treasury Department is going to unleash on the markets. You go after someone like Tether, all that liquidity comes back. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. So,
and then also, I see we had a few new people. To those of you that are new, say hello. We have Fred Ero SK, Ben Elferink, Kenneth GB in OKC, Clary Bongalot, and Crypto Limo. To all of you. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Cardinal.
All right. Guys, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell. We will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to want to have your notification bells on. We're going to be putting out, when something big like this happens, we put out random content. You don't want to miss it. And how do you not miss it? You make sure you have a notification bell on. Also, go check out all of our social medias. Also, go check out our sponsor. If your business is having any IT issues, they offer scalable solutions for your business. Visit BlueWireTech.com or click the link in the description of this video. Also, don't be cheap. Buy some merch. Visit our merch store. You don't have to be a Sin City Crypto fan, but I'm assuming if you're watching, you are. You could just be a Bitcoin fan or an XRP fan or Cardano. They have everything you can ask for. Visit that. And a big shout out to our guests. With that being said, Rocco.
Let's go.
Guys, thank you so much. Breaking news. We'll come back tomorrow. Same time, same place. On behalf of myself, Robin and Rocco. We love you guys. Enjoy the outro music. Compliments on Cassius Kube.
Down with the Gary.
Gary, I'm gonna get you, Gary.
Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon then to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.